Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Curling Club here from beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is the second draw of the Pittsburgh 5&Under Open Bonspiel. And this is our feature sheet, Sheet B here. Currently featuring Team What the Hack from Pittsburgh with the Red Rocks playing against Team Ference from Mayfield Curling Club with the Yellow Rocks. Mayfield won the toss and elected to take the hammer. And this is the second stone from Pittsburgh League. Ryan Waskowicz, sorry. Burgeon my names there as I'm reading our rosters here. Pittsburgh, Ryan Waskowicz throwing lead, Trevor Matthew throwing second, Don Kober throwing third, and Wenjun Yu skipping for Pittsburgh. For Mayfield, Scott Hornack throwing lead, Ed Dabowski throwing second, Lee Najak throwing third, with Tom Ference skipping for Team Ference. Second rock coming in from Scott Hornack, sitting in the top 12 in front of Pittsburgh's second stone, which is sitting in the middle of the 8-foot. Right now Mayfield has won their first shot, touching the button just on the top side of the 4-foot circle. Looks like June's calling for a come around, a draw on the left-hand side. A little narrow here from Don, or Trevor rather. Nope, that's Don. Looks like we changed the order up a little bit here from what we have on our sheet. And that rock will come to rest in the just behind T-line on the left-hand side of the house. And Team Ference quickly wanting to take care of that, so they're sitting two. June now looking like she wants to run her center guard. Looks like another draw attempt. This one a little light still. Trying to sit in front of the rock. Not quite getting under cover though. But yellow now still sitting two in the house. Both in the 4-foot. And Trevor Matthew now Lining up in the hack, trying to decide. Looks like June's calling for a hit to peel that guard that they just threw. Rocks on the way, line looks good. A little bit wide, looks like we're going to just off the inside nose and roll underneath. Does expose that yellow rock, but now it really starts to cluster up that middle. If Mayfield can get one rock behind that cluster, another one, then Pittsburgh's going to have a real trouble clearing enough of those rocks out to steal this end. Mayfield calling for just that, just another guard. Really hangs out there, so Pittsburgh now playing a tap, trying to tap one of those guards, ideally the one on the left, back towards the button. And sometimes those shots are a little difficult here early in the game because you're not quite sure of the ice, you're not quite sure of the speed, and you want to make sure you hit the angle just right. Rock is on its way. It looks like we're a little wide. Trying to bite here as it comes back, and looks like there it really jumps to the side and dives in, but a nose tap back and rolls nicely right onto the button. What a shot. Rock on the way from Lee to Jack for Mayfield, and that one's going to curl up just a little bit light as well. So now, Wenjun Yu, skip for Pittsburgh, has to decide here. She's sitting one in a pretty good spot, but there is still a chance for them to get a run back to get to that rock. So I imagine she's going to try and freeze to that or guard that rock up. And that's what they're calling for. Three guard in front of that yellow to kind of take away that angled raise to drive that yellow onto that yellow. Plenty of ice here, though. So even light here is fine as long as it lines up in front of the yellow. Because you're trying to make that shot as hard as possible. And June's first rock is on the way. Sweepers are on it, trying to hold the line a little bit. Now they're sweeping it for trying to get it in final position there. It's going to stop just short of the house. Oh, it actually sneaks into the 12-foot there. But not a bad rock because it really takes away the angle that they need for that tap on that yellow. So putting the pressure here early on. Sitting with one rock on the button. There you can see the house. Pittsburgh sitting one on the button, pretty much frozen to that yellow rock of Mayfield there, just biting the button. And a lot of guards in front. Tom Ferentz in the hack coming out. Sweepers just letting it run. They're asking it to curl. And it's just a little heavy, and it's going to sail through the house. So now June trying to discuss where she wants this guard. Does she want to guard up the same shot, or does she want to guard up that port? And I think she's elected to try and guard the port up here, make the draw in as hard as possible for Mayfield. Stone on the way. Sweepers indicate the weight is up, but it's curling here. Trying to get a little tick off of their own guard. Oh, it just comes up short there. Now decision time for Mayfield. Looks like they're just going to try the draw. Taking a look and maybe seeing if they can run some kind of tap here. Well, looks like they're going to give it a shot. Last shot of this end is away. And that's going to wreck on the guard. So it's going to be a steal of one here for Pittsburgh in the first end. All right, we're back here in the second end. Team Ferentz from Mayfield keeping the hammer after Pittsburgh team What the Hack stole 1 point there in the first end. First stone from second Don Kober on its way. This stone's going to come to rest. Just in the, looks like just short of the top four. Top 8 centrally located there. Mayfield immediately going after it, not wanting to let Pittsburgh control that button again, like they did in the first end with a bunch of guards in front of it. Peels the rock just thrown on the center line. And rolls over, might be shot there in the top 8. Yes, Mayfield is sitting there. Looks like June telling her team to go after it again. Want to make sure you don't hit this too thin. You don't want to jam it back onto your own red there on the side of the 8-foot. But definitely wants that yellow rock to go away. Don Kober the slide out. Sweepers are letting it go, letting it run. Curling nicely back across the center line. And just splits it out the side just underneath the rock. So Pittsburgh now lying 1. And looks like Mayfield going to try a little hit and roll. Rock's on its way. Hanging out a little bit outside, not quite coming back. It's just going to pass through the house. And June going right back to that center line, wanting to block that middle up once again. Trevor Matthew on its way with his first stone. I think it might be a little warm based on how the sweepers are reacting. And it's going to pass through and out the back of the house. No harm, no foul, but definitely was going to try and put the pressure there with 2 rocks in as opposed to 1. Mayfield's vice with his first stone. Going to take another shot at this one out here. Stone's just hanging out there a little bit, not quite coming back until it's too late. Gets a little piece of it, but not enough to push it all the way through. So Pittsburgh stone remains in the house, but is now sitting in the back 4-foot. And June wants to immediately put a rock in front of it. So definitely still a good position for Mayfield to try and make something out of this end. And Pittsburgh now trying to guard up the front. Trevor's second rock is on the way. It looks like it might be a little heavy like the first one. Curling down towards the red rock. And gets a little bump. So splits him a little bit deeper there in the 8-foot. but definitely plenty of space now between those rocks and T-line.
No, they do engineering, but I don't think they don't.
Lena Jack's second rock on the way here in the second end. And this one just hangs out there as well. Sticks around, biting the back 12 foot. So just a little heavy on that, and maybe a little wide. That rock did not come back like they had anticipated. So now on to June's first rock. She wants to put this top 8 foot, guarding the button. Already sitting 2, so feeling pretty good about where she's sitting right about now with regards to this end. Definitely doesn't want to be heavy with this, doesn't want to be behind T-line. Give Mayfield something to draw down to. Wants to try and stay in the front of the house there to protect as much as possible. Her first rock's away. Sweepers are on it. Looks like it might need a little bit of help. Trying to drag that rock as deep as they can. At least get it into the house. And looks like they've done their job. It's going to be, oh, they might have overcooked it a little bit actually. That's going to sit just in front of the tee line. Possible double there if they want to take a shot at it, or they might just try and corner freeze or a little hit and roll over the button. With those 2 red rocks at the back for Pittsburgh, Mayfield can do any kind of hit and roll. As long as they don't roll too far away, they will still be roughly in front of a Pittsburgh rock, which will make it harder for June to take it out. Tom Ferris' first rock away. Rock's coming in, trying to curl, but might have just a little bit too much. Goes right through the hole and out the back. Now that puts him in a little bit of a predicament now.
Lacey did a phenomenal job. I'm excited to see.
June's quickly into the back and quickly out. This one's definitely lighter than the previous one. Curling pretty good though, still going to come down close to where her first rock was. But it's going to sit just top 12 foot. Pretty much forcing a draw here by Mayfield for Team Ferentz to get their one. The good news for Ferentz is most of the Pittsburgh rocks is on that one side, so they can completely draw this right-hand side. and have plenty of room. Looks a little heavy though. Trying to stop as it gets into the house. Can it maybe catch that back one? It does, and it rolls. Oh, and it rolls out. Good sweeping by Pittsburgh there. That's a steal of 3 here in the second end. Oh, maybe not 3. Oh, looks like they decided. And we're back here. Beginning of end number 3 here in our feature sheet. Sheet here and draw number 2 of the Pittsburgh 5&Under Open Bonspiel. Some scores from around the other sheets. On sheet A, Team Terashenkovic leading 1-0 over Team Ray after 1. On sheet C, Plan B is leading 2-0 over Rock City after 1 end. And on sheet D after 1 end, Standard Question leading 2-0 over NVCC Lechendro. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering anybody's name here during this broadcast. But Pittsburgh with a big steal of 3 in that second end now, leading 4-0 over Team Ference from Mayfield Curling Club. And for this end, Pittsburgh threw up a center guard. Mayfield drew into the button. Pittsburgh then was able to come around their guard, bumping Mayfield off the button. And they're now sitting 1 with a rock in the back 12 foot on the left-hand side there. And Mayfield that time able to draw in, sitting top 8, so they're sitting shot. Rock is exposed, and June telling Dawn, let's go right after it. Nice little hit and roll. Pittsburgh now sitting 2. But that raw, just like the previous rock, that one is exposed. Looks like Team Ferentz is going to take a run at it, trying a little hit and roll underneath that center guard that Pittsburgh threw with their first stone. Rock is on the way. Sweepers are watching it. They're staying close. Seems to just be a little heavy and hanging out there. Might get the back rock for Pittsburgh, though. Little hit and roll and just a tiny little roll there. But enough to be shot. So right now, Team Ferentz sitting 1 in the back of the 8 foot. This rock looks like June's going for it. This rock seems a little bit light, so plan B, trying to switch to a draw, but it might have just a little too much juice on it now. Oh, but it settles nicely there in the back. Just biting the top of the back 4 foot. And looks like Team Ferentz is going to try and draw right down on top of that. Stones away. Sweepers seem okay with the speed so far. Just is hanging out there. They just seem just a tad heavy, and it's not quite biting till too late. So, and that one will sail through to the back. So now, what the hack from Pittsburgh, wanting to put this stone right in the top of the 4 foot, right in the magnet's hand there. Really shrink down that scoring area for Team Ferentz. And June calling a sweep, wants to hold the line on this. Wants to drag it deep as she can to block as much of that scoring area. And they're going to park it, just looks like in the top 12 foot. Still guarding that center line up nicely, though. So now Team Ferentz trying that draw one more time. The rock is away. The line looks pretty good. If it can start to slow down here, it'll start to cut. Here it comes. Here it's coming over. Is it just a little too heavy again? Yep, just a little too much. June's going to make sure that goes out the back. The line was good. It's just a little too much weight. Now June's going to definitely want to try and block that up as much as she can now. Wants to put this rock just in the top of the 8-foot, just above the magnet's head. Really cut down the draw paths there for Mayfield and Team Ferentz. And with your without hammer here, she's fine just scoring one. So, as you can hear though, lively warm room here tonight in Pittsburgh. Our teams from the first draw at 6:45 hanging out, socializing, grabbing a bite to eat and a sip of a drink and enjoying the atmosphere here at the Pittsburgh Curling Club if you haven't been. June's first rock is on the way. Looks a little light. Sweepers are hard on it. Hard, looks like it's over curling and going to be light. Trying to hold it out there as far as they can. But we're going to come down just in front of their last shot. So that draw path is still there for Team Ferentz and Mayfield Curling Club. And they've got the line on the last couple rocks. The question is, can they get that weight dialed in? Ferentz lining up in the hack. And the stone is on the way. Sweeper's on it now. Starts to cut over as it approaches the hog line. Sweepers are trying to hold it out there as far as they can. Getting it by the guards very nicely. Can it clip that back rock and sit shot? It sits, and it is. Sitting in the back 8-foot. Just got a little bump on that back Pittsburgh stone and was able to sit for shot. Trevor calling for the shot to sit top 4-foot. You could try and make a shot on that, but if you miss, now they have a draw for 2. So he's trying to have June put this rock top 4-foot. Does 2 things. Hopefully a sit shot, and definitely helps to block off that draw path. It would force them to come in the other side to try and get their 1 point. Now June and the hack sliding out. Sweepers are staying by. Now they're on it, trying to push it over, trying to carve it over. Ryan and Dawn trying to push this rock over as far as they can to the side. The weight looks good enough. Can they get it over under their undercover in front of that yellow rock? And it's just a little short. Just comes up a little bit light. And so now Team Ferentz the good chance to get there 2. They just have to pretty much draw and touch the 4-foot. And they'll be right back in this game. Tom gets lined up in the hack. Here's the hammer coming down for Team Ferentz from Mayfield Curling Club. And it's just a little wide and a little heavy. But they're on the board. So a score of 1 for Team Ferentz here in the third end. And now, what the hack from Pittsburgh have the hammer coming back in the fourth end. All right, welcome back. Start of the fourth end here. Take a quick look around at some of the other scores around the sheet. On sheet A, Team Tereshkovic has expanded their lead to 3-0 after 2 ends. On sheet B, well, our feature sheet here, What the Hack, leading 4-1 from Pittsburgh. On sheet C, Plan B, leading 2-0 still over Rock City, although they have not yet hung their second end score, so as soon as that is hung, we'll update that score for you. On sheet D, Standard Question, opening up their lead 6-0 now over Lechendro from NBCC. Oh, the Nittany Valley Curling Club. Why? I'm like, why? I'm trying to think of why I know NBCC, and that's the Nittany Valley. So back here on sheet B, our featured sheet. What the Hack has one rock here in the house, sitting, biting the edge of the button. Their second rock is on the way. Obviously trying to guard up their shot rock right now. Team Ferentz from Mayfield, though, has a guard just off center line and has one rock in the top of the 8-foot. In a pretty decent spot that they can do multiple things with if they need to. And Pittsburgh places their guard top of 12-foot in front of their shot rock. Now Team Ferentz looks like it wants to try and draw down to that Pittsburgh shot rock. That shot rock for Pittsburgh is behind T-line, so they are able to try and sit in front of it or even cross the face of it a little bit. And of course, if they tap it back, no harm, no foul there either. Rock's on its way, looks a little warm. They're trying to get it to curl. Here it's coming. Starting to turn. Can they get it by the Pittsburgh guard? Sweeper's on it to get it by the guard. And it's just going to wreck. But it opens it up. Exposes that shot rock, so Pittsburgh's got to waste another guard now. And very close there. I think Mayfield, they're trying to, June looking to try and see, is Mayfield sitting second and third or second and fourth? She's deciding to try and guard up that port there or come through it while she can. First rock the end for Don Cover. Looks a little warm. Going to start moving here just about the UPMC logo. And they're going to try and carve it over, see if they can get a little hit and roll to sit in front. And it's going to bump. And just roll in front. Makes that port getting to the shot rock even tighter now. Probably about a rock and a half. You can get a rock through there, but you got to be pretty quick with it and pretty precise with it. Maybe they'll try to come down this side, maybe get a little bump on their own or hit and roll off of their own rock. Cross at the face, will get a roll. Now they're definitely sitting second and third. With their rock under cover, it's going to pretty much just leave June not much other choice than really just to guard this up. And she wants to play the tap. She wants to tap that rock on the center line. Straight back or into that yellow to kick it back out and then roll back in front of their shot. And the rock is on the way. Rock coming down nicely. Looks like it's gonna bounce off of their own red and sit right in front of their rock, but also take out the rock for Mayfield that was third shot. So cleans up a little bit of the junk that Mayfield was trying to use there. And sits in front of their own stone. They're still sitting shot. And Mayfield looks like they're calling now to draw down again to the Pittsburgh rock. That shot just had a little too much mustard on it. Not able to start curling over in time and sails through the back. June thought about trying to come through that port and hitting the second shot rock, but instead has changed it up, wants to sit top 4 foot in front of her shot. As Trevor Matthew delivers. Looks like it's got plenty of weight on it. Sweepers aren't touching it. And that one's going to sail out. Oh, actually hit Pittsburgh shot rock and bump it. Nudges them closer to center line and spills open. Still only, well, possibly 2. It's hard to tell if that shot that they just threw outcounts that yellow or not from this angle. But now Mayfield Curling Club's trying to clean the middle up here a little bit so they have a little bit better angles at things. Rock's coming down, curling over, hitting the Pittsburgh rock in the top of the 12, and rolling all the way to the other side. Stays in the rings though, so take a quick overhead look here. Pittsburgh sitting 1, possibly 2. And Mayfield sitting at least, possibly 3 or 4. Or 2 or 4, depending on how that shakes out. Pittsburgh going to come down, try and guard their stone. Sweepers are on it now, trying to hold the line. Try not to get this rock to over curl too much. And it's going to over curl, but it's going to kiss the yellow Mayfield stone and roll back just in front of their top 4 foot. Pittsburgh now sitting 2, possibly 3. Mayfield trying to decide what to do here. I think they have to take a shot at these rocks now while they can. Update there for sheet C. They did hang the second and third end scores right now on sheet C. It's Red Rocks leading 3-1, which is Plan B from Pittsburgh over Rock City. First stone away there here for the 4th end for Tom Ferentz of Mayfield Curling Club. And this rock just gets a little wide and does not come back. So now Pittsburgh definitely going to try and guard up their shot rock, sitting 2. All right, first rock of the end for Wei Jun Yu of Pittsburgh Curling Club coming down, trying to guard in front of her shot rocks. This rock looks a little bit wide, though, and a little heavy. It's going to sail next to the rock in the top of the 4 foot and sits there. So Pittsburgh now sitting 3, but a little bit of a target now. And Mayfield quickly coming out, taking a shot at it. Rock's on the way. Reapers trying to hold the line. And peels that top 4 foot rock and kicks it in. Somehow squeaks by. That won the back 4 foot for Pittsburgh. Taking a look at it now, trying to decide, does Pittsburgh have 2? Does Pittsburgh have 3? Give you the overhead. You folks at home can judge for yourself. So Pittsburgh definitely sitting 1 there, back of the 4-foot. Question those 2 rocks there, above the 4-foot. Yellow rock on the center line belonging to Mayfield. Red rock to the left, sitting on the magnet belonging to Pittsburgh. It looks like the call is for Pittsburgh to try and just bump that red rock a little bit closer to the button, leaving no doubt. As the last rock of the 4th end coming down, delivered by Pittsburgh. Rocks away. Looks a little heavy, a little wide. It's going to try and cut here at the end, but I think it's going to have too much juice on it. And it's going to just tap it, and looks like pretty good. Shows you what I know watching from up here. Nice shot, taps it right on the button. 2 points for Pittsburgh here. After 4 ends, Pittsburgh leading Team Ferentz from Mayfield by a score of 6-1. And we're back. Throwing the last of the lead rocks here in the 5th end here of our feature game here at the Pittsburgh Curling Club. Team Ferentz from Mayfield against What the Hack from Pittsburgh. Here in the opening the second draw, the opening round of the Pittsburgh 5&Under Open Bonspiel. My name is Dustin Devine. Thanks everybody for watching and following along this evening. Testing out and trying out our brand new streaming system tonight so we can hopefully bring you more feature games like this through our various tournaments and Bonspiels we host throughout the year. Well, I've got a moment. I'll give you a quick rundown. In January, we have the Pittsburgh Party Spiel. Registration is open for that right now on our website. That tournament's going to run January 24th through the 26th. It's an open Bonspiel. It's a fun time. Come on down. We've got plenty of curling action, plenty of food, plenty of beverages, some games. We'll have raffles. It'll be a great time. So if you're new or haven't been to the Pittsburgh Curling Club yet, definitely make a point to come on out for that one. Also opening just after the holidays, registration for our famous, world famous, I dare say, Tropicurl Bonspiel, held the first weekend of June. That one fills up very quickly, folks, so put it on your calendar now. Make it a point. The first weekend of January, registration for that will open. If you haven't been to one, talk to somebody who has. It's a fantastic time. But back to live action here. Fifth end. We've got a lot of rocks very well lined up here on the center line. We'll switch to the overhead after this rock comes to stop, though. I want to show you this just perfect, almost constellation of rocks right now lined up near the center line in the house. Stone on its way. Sweepers are on it, trying to drag it as far as they can. Getting it close to the center line. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at these rocks right now. Look at that, an Orion's belt pretty much lining right through the middle of the house with two high center guards. And looks like Wei Jun Yu of Pittsburgh is calling for a tap to tap up her redstone in the top 12 foot back towards the button. Don Cobra, the second rock of the end on the way. This got some zip on it. Sweepers are trying to hold the line. Trying to keep it from curling too much back towards that center line, but they're going to clip their center guard and spill both of those stones off the sheet. So now Team Ferentz at Mayfield, looking to steal this end, wants to draw in down to their other stone towards the button from the left-hand side. The rock is away. Sweepers are on it, and they're just watching it. This has a little too much zip, and it's going to sail through the back. So June calling for that tap again. Just wants to nose her rock in the top 12 foot back onto that yellow sitting top 4 foot. And the stone is away. Trevor Matthew pushed it a little bit wide, but it's trying to come back, but it's going to just float on by. So right idea, just a little bit tighter on the line there. I think he would have had it. And now Mayfield's going to try their draw again. Sweepers are pleading the rock to slow up a little bit, check up a little bit, try and grab a little bit. But it's going to sail right on through. So now June calling for that tap again. Giving a little bit less ice, and the rock is on its way. Dawn trying to sweep to hold this line out there. Now they're trying to push it back to the back inside. Here it comes. Just a little off nose though. Fortunately, peels their rock out of the house, but does expose the shot rock now in Mayfield. So now Mayfield's going to have to make sure they put a guard or something in front of this, so Pittsburgh doesn't have any more free looks at it. Mayfield now wants to try and guard this rock now, but also make sure they leave themselves a shot so they can try and get two with the hammer in this end. Rock is away. Sweepers are on it though. Trying to drag it. They want this sitting just in front of the house. Now the rock's starting to curl here as it approaches the far hog line. Starting to come back. Can they get it? Can they get it just in front? Can they get it just in front? They're sweeping it. They're sweeping it. And an excellent shot. Very nicely placed guard just in front of the house. Guarding their shot rock up. Now June looking at her first stone, trying to decide, does she want to draw this or does she want to try and peel that guard? She's going to elect to draw, trying to beat Tom Ferentz to the button. So Wei Jun Yu lining up in the hack, pushing out now, delivering their first stone here in this fifth end. Sweepers are traveling with the rock. They seem to like it now. Now they're sweeping it, trying to get it over, trying to drag it in. Now they're not sure what they were. They decided to stop. It might have been a little heavy. Now they're trying to get the curl. It's going to stop just on the side of the button. Fantastic shot. Good team shot there. Good delivery by June. Good sweep and judgment by Dawn and Ryan and Trevor in the house, calling the line. And that rock sitting just on the left-hand side of the button, guarded by the yellow guard of Team Ferentz. But Team Ferentz, if they throw the same line, same weight, they can easily get to this rock. This rock will curl, just like Pittsburgh's did, and then they can come right down to it, tap it back, and they'll be sitting shot now with backing of Pittsburgh's two red rocks, if they could bump them both back to the back of the house. Currently has holding the broom just about the middle of the 8-foot, maybe a hair on the inside. And here comes the first stone delivered by Team Ferentz here. First skip stone of the end. The weight looks pretty good. Here it comes. It's trying to curl back. It's trying to curl back. This is going to be a nice shot. This is going to be a very nice shot. taps the red rock back. Now, Team Ferentz sitting 2. Both Yellowstones sitting in the top of the house with Pittsburgh Stones behind them to play catcher. And now a decision for Wei Jinyu trying to figure out how she can get a steal out of this end. Looks like they're discussing freezing right down to that shot rock that was just thrown. Maybe a little inside, maybe a little outside, trying to come into the pocket, trying to make a decision here. The hard part is you want to hit this rock hard enough to try and knock it back, but to do that and they have it hit the proper angle is going to be very difficult. You have to have a good handle on your speed and your line here. So the broom's down. June is in the hack, cleaning off a rock. One final check on the alignment. And here we go. June's the final rock of the end. Coming in. Trying to draw into those pile of yellows that are sitting there top 4 foot. Line looks a little tight. Now they have back off the sweep. It's hanging out there a little bit. It's going to chip the Yellowstone out the side. Jams on the back red one. So cutting Mayfield down to 1 right now. And giving Mayfield a draw. Here to get there too. If you want to get real gutsy, if you can come down to that back red rock of Pittsburgh and chip it all the way out the 8 foot, you can get 3 and get right back in this game. But you have to judge the curl and the weight just right. I think they're going to play for the 2, and if it's a little heavy and they get the 3, there's nothing says you can't be a little lucky in this game. Final rock is away. Sweepers are on it, trying to hold the line. Trying to hold the line past the guard. Try and get it by the guard. By the guard. Oh, it just ticks. Great idea. Great premise, but just wrecks on the guard. But Mayfield still gets 1. Bring your score after 5 ends. What the Hack from Pittsburgh, 6. And Team Ferentz from Mayfield Curling Club, 2. All right, and the first stones of the 6th end here underway. Let's take a quick look around the rest of the sheets here. After 4 on sheet A, Team Tershekovich. Sorry about this again, everybody. If I'm butchering your names, I apologize. Leading 6-1 over Team Ray. They are down to skip stones on that here in the fifth end. On sheet C, also down to the final skip stones. Plan B of Pittsburgh, leading Rock City of Detroit 3-2. On sheet D, after 5, standard question, leading 9-0 over Nittany Valley Curling Club. And here on sheet B, our featured sheet again, Team Ference of Mayfield getting 1 with hammer that end, making the score 6-2 here after 5 ends. And the second shot for lead, Scott Hornack, just sitting in front of the house there for a center guard, and looks like a kind of corner guard there on the left side. Team Pittsburgh's first shot went deep into the house, into the back 8 foot. Their second shot now, they're going to try and come behind the guards, sitting in the top, to try and sit in the top of the house. This rock, though, over curling, it's going to sit pretty much in between the two yellow rocks, so an interesting little kind of guard spot there. And now Mayfield's going to actually try and beat Pittsburgh to the button, coming around those guards, helping to shrink down that scoring area. Stones on the way line looks good. Might have a little too much zip on it, but it's trying to curl over as it loses steam here. Approaching the top of the house, and it's going to stop just top 4 foot, right in the magnet's hand. I can tell you, having played in Pittsburgh here, you do use the magnet sometime as a aiming point. Where do you want this rock? I want it right in his hand. And then whenever you do get a shot in there, you're just like, I got to take a picture because it just looks too good. All right, Pittsburgh's first rock here, trying to peel the center guard. Noses it and is able to chip that out. Very nice shot there. But our guards are still there, so Team Ference going to try the same shot, see if they can get a little bit further underneath cover there. And the rock is away. Sweepers are walking with it. Seeming pretty confident this has plenty of weight to get there. It's going to try and come over. But it might just have just a little too much zip. Well, it's going to stop here, but it's going to possibly stop back of the house. June's going to try and get as deep as she can there as it comes to rest in the back 12 foot. Now Pittsburgh going to try and curl around the guards themselves. Everybody's on it. Group sweep. As this one's going to come up a little bit light, they're going to try and squeeze it past that center guard, and it's just going to tick off it and roll over. So now the center of the sheet getting properly clogged up here with guards. Team Fairness looking like a little bit of a tap call. Trying to angle raise their yellow guard just underneath all those red rocks of Pittsburgh's. Stones away. Plenty of weight on it. Can they get it to hit a thin enough angle just to chip it sideways? And it's just hanging out there and it's not coming back, and it's going to go through. Now Pittsburgh fully content to tap up one of their reds. And this sometimes is where curlers, have sometimes a little difficulty in judging the weight properly, because some people just like to throw big, heavyweight takeouts. And sometimes just little soft little hits like that, just to bump it over, are a little trickier, especially if you haven't practiced them a lot. So that rock taps the guard into the top 12, but is not close enough to be shot or second shot. And now Team Fairness is going to try and draw through that open hole there on their left hand, our right hand side. Plenty of room. Might just be a little bit heavy. It's going to try and grind to a halt here in the back of the house. And it's going to sit. Looks like back 8 foot, and it will be close enough to be shot. Pittsburgh seeing all of that rock through the hole. Wanted to take a shot at it, but we're a little narrow. The sweepers are on it, trying to hold the line. And they are going to chip out their stone at the top of the 12 foot. So now Team Fairness trying to figure out how we can get a steal out of this. Looks like they want to try and draw it down to the... Nope. Not sure what they're trying now. If they're trying to hit that rock or if they're going to just use that as a guide to draw top of the 8 foot on the center line. Some of the players are noticing the clock counting down there in the back. The clock behind is a 90-minute clock. You have 90 minutes to complete 6 ends. Completing 6 ends means the last stone is in motion when that clock hits 0. If it does, you can play a full 8 ends. If you don't make that time, you can finish the end you're on and you can play one more end. So with about 4 minutes left, trying to make sure they get all the rocks in play so they can play their full 8 ends. And this stone just coming through, getting swept, and just sitting back 12 foot. So there you can see from the overhead, yellow is sitting one, Pittsburgh sitting second shot, and then Mayfield sitting third and fourth. Pittsburgh trying to draw into that top 8, top 4 area on the magnet, trying to fully get buried underneath all those guards. June's first rock underway. Sweepers are on it. Sweepers are on it hard, trying to drag that rock. Now they think, okay, get off. Let's see if it'll curl. Rock's trying to come sideways here, coming over, approaching the center line, the top of the 4. It's going to be a little heavy pass through to the back 4, back 8 foot. Back 4 foot, back 8 foot, back 4 foot. Now Team Ference wants to come right down on top of that. Trying to set up for the steal here with their last rock. Sweepers are on it, trying to hold the line. Anything they got on just a little too late. We're going to wreck on the guard. It's going to spill into the house. But leaves Pittsburgh sitting first shot. All right. June trying to draw for 2 here with Hammer in the 6th end. And the rock's on its way. Sweepers keep it clean. Now they're brushing. Now they're brushing for weight, trying to get that rock to go. Might be a little light. They're trying to get it. They have to get it pretty much almost the 4 foot. And they're down. Oh, they chipped their own rock. And spun out, but it's, ooh, 1 definite for Pittsburgh. And looks like it's just going to be 1. So after 6 ends, what the heck from Pittsburgh Curling Club, leading Team Ference from Mayfield Curling Club by a score of 7-2. All right, back here on sheet B here at the Pittsburgh Curling Club. Start of our 7th end. We've got a pair of center guards set up. Looks like June now is going to try and have Ryan draw underneath those. really put the pressure on Team Ferentz. Rock is on its way. And right out of his hand is being swept. They think it's a little narrow, trying to hold the line on this. I think they did enough. They got it. Oh, it just chips the guard. Just chips the guard and spins the shooter on in. So Pittsburgh now sitting, looks to be 2. Red Rock biting the top of the 12 with one right on the face of the magnet. Team Ferentz wants to take that out now. Can't let Pittsburgh sit with too many more in the house here. They need to hit and roll underneath these guards to start making a comeback. Stone's on the way. Line looks good. Those sweepers here trying to hold the very end of it. And nice little hit on the inside. Rolls. Doesn't quite get underneath cover, but still a pretty good shot. Sitting 1 now on the top of the 8-foot. June can see just, June has Don can see just about all this rock, so he's going to definitely take a run at it. Even if he works on the guards now, it's not exactly terrible. You just don't want to chip this too thin and nudge it underneath that cover. Stone's on the way. Sweepers here on the end. And a good hit, and we roll out to the wing there. So the staggered guards, Team Ferentz now going to try and draw the button on the other side. Stone's on the way. Sweepers are on it. Stone was a little too light. It's already starting to curl. Looks like it's going to join. Try and line up almost with those other guards. So June's going to try and now come underneath. Same line that Team Ferentz just tried to throw. Rock's on the way. No sweeping just yet. Trying to sweep a little bit now for line. Hold it. It's really starting to curl here. Really starting to curl. Can they get it underneath that guard? Nope. They're going to chip that yellow over the center line, spilling back towards the house, where we're going to come to rest just in front of it. Stone on the way. Starting to curl nicely here. A little extra curl, just make sure we didn't chip that red rock. But it has a little too much zip, and June's going to make sure she tries to get that out the back of the house, and just does. first stone from Trevor on the way here, trying to draw underneath all the center guards. Looks like it's hanging out. Now they're going to play a little tick off the red even, and it's just going to go past it. But now they may have overcooked it a little bit. And is this going to settle in the back 8 foot? So now open draw for Team Ferentz with some backing. Just need to follow that same line that Pittsburgh just threw. Rock is away. And out of his hand, that curls to the right. That might have picked out of his hand. As it's just came right out of his hand and took an immediate right-hand turn to the other side of the sheet. So unfortunate error there. But we've all done that. Sometimes you just have the rock that just right out of your hand and where you think you're going. Second stone now for Trevor from Pittsburgh on the way. Sweepers again on this, trying to hold, drag this rock as far as it can. It's a little bit light. And they're working on it, trying to get it as far as they can. Not a whole ton of curl because they're really trying to keep this straight. And it's going to come to rest just in the top 12 foot. So Pittsburgh is sitting 4. 1 rock in the back 8 foot, 1 in the side 12 foot, and 2 sitting at the very top 12 foot. And Team Ferentz now is going to try and make a hole for their last final draws. Stones on the way. This one out of the hand, traveling straight and true. It's hanging out there, trying to curl back. Just gets a piece of the red rock though and just nudges them together and moves them over about 6 inches. Now Pittsburgh's trying to work on that open right-hand side. June lines are shot up, gets down the hack, clears a piece of debris that she found in front of her, and now delivers her stone. Rock's on its way, initially being cleaned by Dawn, but now they're off trying to see if this will slow up and curl a little bit for him. As we're sailing into the house and into the back of the house. Actually coming to us just on the tee line. So now Team Ferentz trying to find a way to get in here. There's plenty of room if they can get this rock to curl, come underneath the red, or even just hit and roll on the stone that June just threw. Then there's potential there for them to try and steal a point out of this. But they're going to have to make a play towards the middle or towards that rock that was just thrown, so they can try and get underneath that cover. And the first rock for Tom Parents on the way here. And I apologize. Yellow has hammer this, so they're not trying to steal. They're trying to make this shot so that they have a potential shot for two, but this rock looks a little light and starting to curl, a little narrow out of his hand. Tapping up the yellows. But Rex on all those guards, and now we've got a wall built. So now, once you knew if Pittsburgh's going to try and tap up that red to try and get a little bit more firmly planted in there. And last rock for June is on the way. Sweepers seem to indicate the weight is on tap, but it's starting to curl here as we come down close to the hog line. It's going to go past, and looks like we're going to be a little bit hitting the rock in the top four and nudging it back, so now there's two rocks in the 4 foot. Pittsburgh in command this end, sitting 7. Mayfield just having to try and tap their rock up here on the center line. Stones away, and it's curled out of his hand. And is going to spill on over. And the rock is going to go through the back. And that'll be it. That'll be the end there. So a big win there for the Pittsburgh Curling Club and Team What the Hack. They'll remain in the A bracket here at the Pittsburgh 5&Under Open Bonspiel. Team Ferris will fall to the B bracket. And both teams will continue on tomorrow. Thanks everybody for joining us here this evening. Be sure to tune back in tomorrow. Our first game tomorrow morning is at, let me make sure the right time, so set your alarms everybody. First game tomorrow is 8:30 in the morning here on the feature sheet. Team Up versus Team Rochester. So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope to see you guys the rest of the weekend. Have a good night everyone.